too. A week earlier, his father had suffered a stroke, prompting their stay with us as he recuperated. Our household, already a whirlwind of activity with 6 kids spanning ages 17 to 5 and a faithful canine companion, now teemed with even more energy. Amidst the chaos, we made it a point to instill in our kids the profound significance of family bonds. To fit my tight schedule, I prioritized getting my paycheck as my 3 p.m. shift approached. Life's unpredictability had other plans. A flat tire stalled a car, while leisurely Boy Scouts dotted the grassy roadside. A car slowed to help, prompting me to look in the rearview mirror and see a huge rig approaching dangerously. "I can't believe this is how it ends," I said involuntarily moments before the collision, which changed everything in an instant. The aftermath felt like a cosmic pause button had been pressed, transporting me beyond my physical body. Eerie silence was replaced by warmth and serenity in the chaos. Panic faded into an unfamiliar tranquility infused with love. In a rare surreal moment, my voice seemed to elicit an ethereal exchange that felt like God's voice resonating within, inundating me with an overwhelming embrace. One of the entities in this confusing encounter was my grandmother, while the other's identity would be revealed 7 years later. Despite my strict Catholic upbringing, childhood adversities and life's whims left me resentful of God. When faced with this clear evidence, a transcendent presence was bound to be acknowledged. In a flash, I said, "I erred. Indeed, God exists." Instead of punishing me, God flooded me with love, reassuring me. Being wrapped in love and safety felt like being a child. A vivid retrospective of my life showed altruistic and regrettable deeds. I was overjoyed seeing my small acts of kindness spread. God took pride in my positive contributions, giving me a newfound sense of accomplishment. I felt joy reflecting on those subtle acts of benevolence and realizing I had spread happiness in others' lives. God gently guided me through the consequences of less kind deeds, allowing me to feel them. What a powerful lesson on kindness and our actions. Despite the weight, I was grateful to live a meaningful life and learn from this turbulent journey. When I realized I had hurt others, I was devastated. My encounter with God was different from traditional prayer-based judgment. No one asked, "How could you?" or threatened with inferno, not my childhood's punitive deity. Understanding that God had pardoned me was difficult. Self-forgiveness, not divine absolution, was the real challenge. His message was clear. Self-forgiveness was necessary to fully embrace his love. This was a simple request to bask in his love, knowing that he loved me despite my mistakes. Seeing God's love mirrored my love for my children, even through their mistakes. While I may not condone their actions, like God and parenting classes, I found that my words moved my kids. God's love endured apologies and pain. After the reflection, God revealed my purpose, a profound revelation tailored to me. I believed God was unaware of my essence during my harsh self-criticism. Yet, his revelation struck. Why fashion you uniquely if you're destined to be a mere imitation? We each have a judgment-free purpose. Everybody follows their own path. Conversations with the divine led me to questions about my kin. Amazingly, I chose this family constellation to accumulate growth credits. I made some bad decisions due to my lack of self-trust. The divine entity revealed that Earth functions like an educational institution. The Life Review, a test, follows our educational stints here. You advance if you succeed. Returning to heaven revealed a lesson, love. The divine's love compared to our ability to love ourselves and others. I received a detailed plan from God. I said, "I'm capable of fulfilling this task. Seeing that, a willingness and resolve came from within. Stay put or venture forth was the main question. Within my grasp was autonomy. I lingered despite preferring rectitude to fallacy, wanting to fix past mistakes and basking in divine earthly affection. I whispered, I must remain, possible rash decision. Suddenly, the cinematic interaction and divine conversation ended. The euphoric dialogue ended instantly. I was back at the wheel, gripping it tightly. Reality was harsh and unwavering. Amazing how quickly I realized. Many things were inexplicable, requiring more time to understand life. Boom! Returning to earthly life. Feeling the divine's love, my grandmother's essence, and a friend's ethereal presence. The order was, release the brake, propel forward with fervor. Immediately, action began. Family braces for irreversible loss after truck collision. My family may have seen my departure before the crash as tragic. My body, not my essence, survived the impact. The divine's love shielded me in that dire moment. I avoided looking in the rearview mirror after my van crashed, afraid of losing divine love. A nurse by trade, she was incapable of helping that day due to emotions. I cried as law enforcement arrived, understanding the surreal turn of events. Failure to reveal the celestial pact broke the love cocoon. An officer said, I don't understand how your actions today saved many lives. Casualties absent. After the accident, my body suffered, but the emotional effects lingered. Despite the physical whiplash, that ethereal episode captured the fragility and sanctity of existence. My presence's purpose revealed, conscious choice, but I kept this insight hidden. Concerned about eccentricity and mental institution entrapment. My life review illuminated my purpose, but the details faded. Like everyone else, a tiny rodent navigates life's labyrinth. In difficult times, remembering my inner dialogue. When challenges arise, I possess the capability to endure, helps. I do things that comfort God because of divine support. I keep a faded photo of my early academic years by my bed to remind me of my divine lineage. When facing adversity, I pause, consider my actions, and avoid negative thoughts. Only one misstep. In pursuit of virtue but accepting flaws. Allow me to explain. My spouse wrecked my first car a week before the collision. Disappointing loss, right? It appears destiny intervened. My collision-avoiding van saved the day. Any other transportation that day could have been disastrous. A roller coaster year followed the collision. Trying times raised questions about my survival. After learning and counting my blessings, I have no regrets about my persistence. Establishing a spiritual sanctuary after my near-fatal experience and mortality has been difficult. In essence, I'm a church orphan, seeking a congregation that shares my beliefs. While my job has religious overtones, I want a spiritual community. After 2 days of recovery from the accident, I was in church with a stiff neck held in place by a pesky neck brace and every muscle aching. While in pain, a curious person asked, "Who accompanied you?" About my misfortune. To my surprise, I told God and Grandma, expecting skepticism. Despite my expectations, she encouraged me to reveal their identities. I was full of doubts. Talking to this curious person eased my concerns. A stranger started a conversation about the incident after Mass. She had also overcome near death and shared her story, and both knew their ethereal companions' names. I searched for these names daily, but hit a brick wall. My evening ritual was watching a televised exhibition on near-death encounters, spirit guides, and alternative name solicitation. Before sleeping, I asked my subconscious to solve the mystery through dreams. One morning there was only Amy. The name grew louder despite internal debate. Thus, Amy became my trusted confidant. The more I believed in celestial assistance, the more it appeared. I keep talking to Amy. Let me clarify for those with supernatural questions. Amy's kindness helps me find answers in my dreams when I'm in doubt. Now, answers permeate my mind without sleep. I'm grateful for her unwavering support and eager for our reunion in the afterlife.
Hey, everyone! Today, we're diving into the captivating story of Don Piper's incredible journey to heaven, zooming in on Chapter 2 from his book, 90 Minutes in Heaven. If you haven't yet delved into this literary escapade, maybe it's time to swing by your local bookstore for a copy. Don's exit from earthly life didn't play out like the typical dark tunnel and dramatic light scenario. No fading into oblivion or returning vibes for him. As he took his final breath, an unbelievable light surrounded him, exceeding anything imaginable. Suddenly, he discovered himself right in the heart of heaven. Quite a departure from the usual narrative, isn't it? Imagine the sheer delight coursing through Don as he takes in the breathtaking celestial panorama. It's like a cosmic Coachella, but in a realm beyond our earthly grasp. Before him stands a dazzling gate, and in this celestial logistics-free zone, distance is just a trivial detail. The celestial crowd converges upon him, and interestingly, Jesus is a no-show, yet familiar faces surround him, forming what Don playfully calls his celestial welcoming committee. At the forefront of this ethereal gathering is Grandpa Joe Colbeth, sporting a shock of white hair and a nose that Don lovingly describes as a big banana. Their embrace is a reunion of unparalleled warmth, eclipsing any concerns about how they got there. Forget the logistics, the joy of being together overshadows all. Grandpa, once a victim of a heart attack, now embodies the robust figure from Don's childhood ambulance escapades. Why Grandpa takes the lead in this celestial parade is anyone's guess. Maybe it's because Don was there when he passed. Regardless, the procession of familiar faces persists, with hugs, kisses, and handshakes galore. Among the heavenly welcoming party is Mike Wood, Don's childhood buddy, who steered him towards Sunday school and the Christian path. Despite meeting a tragic end in a car wreck at 19, Mike is here, a testament to love prevailing over earthly sorrow. And so concludes Don's celestial escapade, an exhilarating journey marked by embraces, joy, and a welcoming committee that puts earthly celebrations to shame. Who would have thought heaven is a realm overflowing with love and familiar faces? If this account doesn't spark your interest in the book, it's tough to say what will. Back on Earth, during Mike's funeral, onlookers witnessed Don grappling with profound emotional turmoil. Tears flowed relentlessly, prompting contemplation on why someone as devout as Mike was taken away. In the ensuing years, the pain and sense of loss lingered in Don's recollections. Though Mike wasn't a constant thought, the sadness resurfaced whenever Don did reflect. But the narrative takes a poignant turn when Don finds himself in heaven. By his side stands Mike, radiating joy as he warmly embraces Don. In this celestial realm, the once pervasive pain and grief dissipate. The reasons behind Mike's happiness remain elusive to Don, yet the overall joy of the place overshadows any lingering questions. It's nothing short of a perfect and blissful experience for him. Countless celestial beings address Don by name, extending warm welcomes, their joyous faces overwhelming him with a serenity that transcends earthly expressions. Pulsating with life, these heavenly inhabitants exude a joy that defies the significance of time in this ethereal setting. Despite its timelessness, Don chooses to recount the experience within earthly temporal references for clarity. In a joyful gathering of familiar faces, Don experienced something extraordinary. He saw his great-grandfather and even Barry Wilson, his high school friend who had tragically drowned. The happiness from these encounters was unimaginable, making the air around them echo with praises to God and excitement about Don joining this divine group. The celestial assembly included 2 teachers who had taught Don about Jesus. Despite not recognizing anyone from his time on earth, the beings around him spanned different ages, creating a comforting sense of familiarity that went beyond earthly connections. Don found it hard to put this amazing experience into words. Earthly language couldn't quite capture the overwhelming mix of joy, excitement, warmth, and happiness that defined this heavenly encounter. While in the moment Don felt no tiredness, and the duration of hugs, laughter, and expressions of gratitude seemed endless. The heavenly family gathering at the gates of heaven surpassed even the grandest reunions in Don's hometown. The sensory experiences in this celestial realm overwhelmed his senses with powerful embraces, unparalleled beauty, and colors that surpassed anything on earth. It felt like tasting would have been more glorious than any earthly indulgence, although Don didn't remember tasting anything. In a dimension hard to describe, Don felt like he had stepped into another world. The overwhelming sense of being fully alive in this celestial realm surpassed even his happiest moments on Earth. Unable to find words before his loved ones, he tried to absorb the surreal experience. Expressions of joy echoed, though uncertain if they were spoken. In this timeless dimension of heaven, waiting and expecting felt more like a state than a passage of time. Looking at the faces around him, Don recognized how each person played a crucial role in his journey to becoming a Christian. Their positive influence contributed significantly to his spiritual growth, making him a better disciple. Despite conversations revolving around the joy of being together in this extraordinary place, the specifics of their impact remained unspoken. Overwhelmed, Don simply said, "I'm happy to be with you," unable to fully express the deep joy of being surrounded and embraced by those he loved. In this heavenly state, regrets about leaving family or possessions behind disappeared, as if God had cleansed his mind of anything negative or worrisome. The familiar faces, aglow with hate and joy, retained their earthly appearances. Hattie Mann, once bent and wrinkled, stood strong and upright, her wrinkles erased and her smile more beautiful than ever. Age seemed irrelevant in this dimension where time didn't pass. Despite earthly imperfections, every person possessed a perfect, beautiful countenance. Even after the passing of numerous years, the recollection of those flawless visages and the comforting grins persisted within the recesses of Don's mind. The cherished faces of his heavenly hosts, exuding unparalleled warmth and friendliness, remained vivid in his memory. Closing his eyes, he could still conjure their ethereal presence. The sacred moments shared with these beloved souls lingered as a treasured hope etched into the tapestry of his thoughts. In that initial celestial meeting, they hurried toward him, enveloping him in embraces that seemed to emanate from all directions. Their countenances reflected a love that transcended the depths of any emotion experienced in his earthly existence. Though not articulated in spoken words, the expressions of love radiated from every being surrounding him in that divine realm. Don found himself overwhelmed by awe and wonder, absorbing the boundless love that enveloped him. Shifting his focus from the faces, an intense brilliance bathed everything, defying adequate description with mere human language. Approaching a gate aglow with an even brighter light, the landscape underwent a transformative metamorphosis. A gentle hill extended endlessly before him. Expecting darkness beyond the gate, Don was instead greeted by an expanse of intense, radiant light. With each step, the luminosity heightened, surpassing even the earlier encounter with his celestial companions. Attempting to capture the essence of the experience, it was likened to opening a door from a darkened room into the brilliance of noonday sun. Despite the dazzling radiance, each stride forward magnified the splendor. Don felt immersed in the light, sensing a divine ushering into the very presence of God. Unlike the gradual adjustment of earthly eyes, his heavenly vision perceived with absolute ease. In the celestial realm, our senses undergo an immeasurable amplification, allowing us to fully absorb the surroundings. A remarkable sensory jubilation unfolds, wrapping me in sacred awe with every step forward. The path ahead remains veiled in mystery, yet with each stride, a deepening sense of wonder pervades. Celestial melodies caress my ears, adding another layer to this unfolding experience. Unfortunately, legal constraints curtail further elaboration on this narrative. Consequently, today's video must draw to a close. If you haven't explored this particular book among the many that have been traversed, I wholeheartedly recommend it. Feel free to share your reflections in the comments if you've already journeyed through its pages. Until our paths cross